Be me, 24 years old, gender studies major, part-time barista, full-time keyboard warrior for feminism. My name is Brenda, but my Twitter handle is at patriarchyslayer69. Yeah, I'm that girl, got the half-shaved head, the septum piercing, and a wardrobe that's 90% black. My life's mission: to dismantle the oppressive patriarchal structures that hold women down. Spend my days writing long-winded blog posts about the male gaze, mansplaining, and the weaponization of incompetence. Spend my nights arguing with faceless anime avatars on the internet. My friends are all clones of me. We're an echo chamber of righteous indignation. We call ourselves the Feminist Fight Club. Our weekly meetings consist of drinking cheap wine, complaining about men, and plotting the downfall of the patriarchy. It's a good life. Or so I thought one evening. During one of our sacred gatherings, the topic of online dating comes up. My friend, let's call her Luna, is lamenting her latest Tinder experience. He had the audacity to ask me what I bring to the table. She fumes, as if my mere presence isn't a gift to this world. We all nod in agreement. A chorus of "Yas queens" and "Men are trash" fills the room. I, being the most vocal and self-righteous of the group, take the stage. It's because men have it so easy, I declare. They just have to exist and women throw themselves at them. They're playing the dating game on easy mode while we're stuck on legendary difficulty with all the cheat codes turned off. My friends snap their fingers in approval, but then my other friend, a quiet girl named Chloe who I always suspected had a secret boyfriend, chimes in. "I don't know, Brenda," she says hesitantly. "My brother complains about dating apps all the time. He says it's really hard for guys." The room falls silent. You could hear a pin drop, or in our case, the sound of 1,000 microaggressions being committed at once. I scoff. Your brother is probably just an entitled incel who thinks he deserves a supermodel for breathing. The reality is, men have it easy, and I'm going to prove it. And that's how the idea was born. My grand experiment: I would go undercover, create a fake male dating profile, and document my experiences. I would expose the male privilege that runs rampant in the world of online dating. My blog post about it would go viral. I would get a book deal, maybe even a TED Talk. I would be the hero the feminist movement needed. Oh, how naive I was. The first step was to create my male alter ego. I needed a name that screamed, "I am a man." Hear me roar, something powerful, something primal. I settled on Chad Thundercock. It was perfect, a caricature of the very masculinity I despised. For the pictures, I scoured the internet for a suitable face. I found a stock photo model who was the epitome of conventionally attractive. Chiseled jaw, piercing blue eyes, a body that looked like it was carved from marble. He was perfect. The kind of man I would normally cross the street to avoid. The bio was the easy part. I just wrote down all the things I hated in a man's bio. Because apparently that matters. Entrepreneur, gym is my therapy, looking for a partner in crime to travel the world with. No drama. I cringed as I typed it, but it was all part of the plan. With my profile complete, I unleashed Chad upon the unsuspecting world of Tinder. I sat back, a smug grin on my face, and waited for the floodgates to open. I imagined my phone buzzing incessantly with notifications, a deluge of matches from eager women. I even prepared a spreadsheet to categorize the types of women who would match with Chad, so I could better analyze the data for my exposé. I was a scientist, a researcher, a pioneer in the field of feminist anthropology. The first day, I got 2 matches too. I blinked at my phone in disbelief. Maybe the app was broken. I checked my settings. Everything was fine. I swiped right on every single profile. A desperate attempt to boost my numbers, still nothing. I went to bed that night feeling a strange mix of confusion and disappointment. It's just the algorithm, I told myself. It needs time to adjust. The next few days were more of the same: a trickle of matches, a few bots, and a lot of radio silence. My spreadsheet remained mostly empty. The few conversations I managed to start were a soul-crushing exercise in futility. "Hey, hi, how are you?" "Good, you?" "I'm good." "What are you up to?" It was like talking to a brick wall, a very boring, uninspired brick wall. I, the master of witty banter and intellectual discourse, was being ghosted by women who had live, laugh, love in their bios. The irony was not lost on me. I complained to my friends about my lack of success. It's because your bio is too generic. Luna said, you need to stand out. But that's the point, I argued. I'm trying to be the most basic, stereotypical man possible. That's what women are supposed to want, right? My friends nodded in agreement, their faith in our shared ideology unwavering. Chloe, however, remained silent. A knowing look in her eyes, I ignored her. I decided to take Luna's advice and spice up Chad's profile. I added a picture of him hiking, another of him with a golden retriever, borrowed from a friend. Of course, I changed his bio to something more interesting. Just a guy who loves adventure, dogs, and a good conversation. I'm a feminist, an ally, and I'm not afraid to cry during a sad movie. Let's smash the patriarchy together. I felt a little sick to my stomach, pandering to my own demographic, but hey, all's fair in love and social experiments. The results were underwhelming. I got a few more matches, mostly with women who looked like they were auditioning for a Portlandia sketch. The conversations, however, were just as painful as before. They would lecture me about feminism, quiz me on my knowledge of Judith Butler, and then ghost me when I failed their purity test. I was being out-feministed by my own creation. It was a new level of hell. A month into the experiment, I was starting to lose my mind. My dreams were filled with the soulless glow of the Tinder interface. I would wake up in a cold sweat, my thumb twitching, my mind racing with thoughts of, what am I doing wrong? I had become the very thing I despised. A man obsessed with getting a woman's attention. My blog was neglected, my friends were concerned, and my apartment was a mess. I was living on a diet of coffee, instant noodles, and a growing sense of despair. I decided to change my tactics once again. No more Mr. Nice Guy, no more feminist ally. It was time to unleash the final form of Chad Thundercock. The alpha male. I deleted all the pictures of him smiling. I replaced them with pictures of him looking broody and mysterious. His bio was short and to the point. Not here for a long time, here for a good time. I even added a picture of him standing next to a sports car, photoshopped of course. The change was instantaneous. My phone started buzzing, and it didn't stop. Matches were pouring in, hundreds of them. I was a kid in a candy store. A very misogynistic, emotionally unavailable candy store. The women who matched with me were different from the previous ones. They were more direct, more aggressive, more thirsty. They didn't want to talk about their feelings. They wanted to know how tall I was and what I did for a living. They sent me unsolicited nudes. They called me daddy. They asked me to ruin their lives. It was a whole new world. A world I never knew existed. I was getting what I wanted, the data I needed for my exposé, but it came at a price. I had to become Chad Thundercock. I had to be a cold, aloof, and emotionally manipulative asshole. I had to use cheesy pickup lines. I had to neg them. I had to treat them like objects, and the worst part, it worked. They loved it. They ate it up like it was the last piece of chocolate cake on earth. I was living a double life. By day, I was Brenda, the feminist warrior, fighting for the rights of women everywhere. By night, I was Chad, the douchebag extraordinaire, breaking hearts and taking names. The lines started to blur. I would find myself using Chad's confident, almost arrogant tone in my real-life conversation. I would catch myself checking out women on the street, not as a feminist observing the male gaze, but as a man assessing his options. I was losing myself, and I didn't know how to stop. The breaking point came during a conversation with a woman named Jessica. She was beautiful, smart, funny, everything I would want in a partner if I were actually a man. We had been talking for a week, and I was starting to develop genuine feelings for her. I know. It's pathetic, but I couldn't help it. She was the first person who seemed to see through Chad's bullshit facade. She challenged me. She made me laugh. She made me feel human. One night, we were having a late-night conversation, and she said something that hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, Chad, she said, you're not like the other guys on here. You're different. You're actually a good person. A good person. Me, Brenda, the man-hating feminist, was being called a good person while pretending to be a misogynistic asshole. The cognitive dissonance was too much to bear. I started to cry, not just a few tears, but a full-blown, ugly, snot-filled cry. I was a mess. I knew I had to end it. I had to tell her the truth, so, with trembling fingers, I typed out a long, rambling message, confessing everything: my name, my experiment, my true identity. I told her I was sorry, that I never meant to hurt her, that I was a fraud. I hit send. And then I threw my phone across the room. I didn't want to see her reply. I didn't want to know how much I had hurt her. The next day, I deleted the Chad Thundercock profile. I felt a strange sense of relief, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. But I also felt empty, lost, and confused. My grand experiment was a failure. I hadn't proven that men have it easy. If anything, I had proven the opposite. I had experienced the soul-crushing rejection, the emotional roller coaster, the constant pressure to perform. I had seen the dark side of online dating, a side I never knew existed. I never heard from Jessica again. I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to talk to me either. I was a monster, a manipulator, a hypocrite. I didn't write the blog post. I didn't get the book deal. I didn't give the TED talk. Instead, I took a long, hard look at myself in the mirror. I didn't like what I saw. I quit the Feminist Fight Club. I told them I needed some time to figure things out. They didn't understand. They called me a traitor, a sellout. I didn't care. I was done with the echo chamber, done with the righteous indignation, done with the hate. I started talking to Chloe more. She was the only one who didn't judge me, the only one who seemed to understand. She told me about her brother, about his struggles with dating, about his feelings of loneliness and despair. It was a story I was all too familiar with. I'm still a feminist, but I'm a different kind of feminist now, one that believes in equality for everyone, not just for women, one that believes in listening, in empathy, in understanding, one that knows that the world isn't black and white, that there are shades of gray everywhere. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know one thing for sure: I'm never going on a dating app again, not as a woman, and definitely not as a man. My name is Brenda, and I'm a recovering Chaddick, and for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with that.